Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about why do men struggle with expressing their emotions and how to change it. I appreciate you guys for watching the channel. Please keep supporting by watching, by following, liking, and also making it interactive by commenting, telling us your thoughts and opinion. Now I'm going to give a bit of context about who my parents were or who my parents are. So I came from a two-household family where my dad is an entrepreneur, owns his own businesses. Some of them I know about, some of them I don't. When I was young, he had several taxis, real estate portfolio of single family household. And my mom was just a normal corporate employee working in a bank her whole life. So today, just looking back into my own life as well, as a youth, when I was young, I find it very difficult for me to know why there's a problem or where the problem comes from, where men cannot express their own emotions, where men cannot express their desires, their feelings, what they think about other things, the things that they like, things that are affecting them personally and professionally, or even general things or how that days went through. Looking back to my own experience as a youth when I was young, growing up in Botswana, I don't think I ever told or expressed, my desires to my own parents. I don't think I ever told my own parents what I wanted to be when I grew up. I don't think I ever told anyone about the anxieties I used to have as a young boy before exams. I don't think I had a social group where people could actually talk about their own feelings. A group of friends where we could actually express how we felt, what our days were, what exactly we went through, or some of the fears that we have as young boys and young men. Now, my own question is that, which I don't even know, because some of these things we have to talk about them with professionals. Is it a case of a cultural a thing that in many cultures men are not supposed to express how they feel? Is it a historical thing? Some of these things we don't really know why they happen or why they are the way they are, but I can just give my own experience of who I am as a human being. Maybe some of you could relate to what I'm saying. And I find it very, very interesting that some of these experiences that we go through as human beings, but in general as men, some of it we there's so much in common that we don't even realize. Now, being able to communicate well, understanding your emotions has a lot of benefits. I mean, your mental health is improved, right? You are able to consider your own thoughts and sincerely express them. Being able to communicate well your emotions allows you or builds or strengthens the relationships that you currently have, right? I, for myself, realized that after doing a self-inspection, self-retrospection, that I get triggered a lot when someone else is yelling at me or shouting at me or talking to me in a way that I find disrespectful. Now, after having done the self-retrospection about myself, why do I react this way? I found out that actually when I was young, my mom used to yell at me. She used to, shout, yell. Also, a bit of abuse where she used to tell me that she wished that she didn't have me. Now, as a child, when you are going through these situations or abusive moments, who do you actually express your opinion to? Who do you express your feelings to? Right? But this is one thing that I've just learned about myself at the moment. It's a very important lesson for me to actually know that, okay, something triggers me, and why do I get triggered by people who actually talk in a way that I find disrespectful, right? And being able to understand your emotions, being able to communicate them well to other people strengthens your relationships with those people. It also boosts up self-growth, right? Because then once you understand why you are triggered, you are able to say, hold on, this is a moment that can trigger me, but do I actually have to react in a way that can take my life or put my life in a very negative state? Like if you react aggressively because you are triggered by things that happened to you in your youth or in your childhood, do you have to react in that way? And I find that actually being able to understand your emotions, being able to communicate them well with the people that are there with you, with the people that you care about, it also prevents aggressiveness. Like this self-growth allows you to actually understand who you are. You are able to think before you act, and you are not faced with many opportunities for you to put your life at risk because you were aggressive or you reacted in an aggressive manner. And it's very important for us to actually learn. It's very important for us as men to actually learn how to communicate our emotions, express our emotions, our own desires. It's very important for us to actually, do some therapy. In my own age now, I find that there are some men who are still thinking like they are 10 years old, 15 years old, because of what happened when they were 6 years old, 8 years old, 12 years old. So it's important to actually learn about how you can actually express your own emotions. Develop social structures where, communicating or talking about your own feelings is not as seen as something soft. Communicating and talking about your own desires is not something which is seen as a bad thing. It's not seen as a weakness for you to actually express who you are. It's not seen as a weakness for you to express your own thoughts, as long as you are doing it in a respectful way, in a respectful manner. Grow up, be a man. Don't show weakness. Toughen up. All of these are sayings which imply that as a man, you are not supposed to express emotions. As a man, you are not supposed to show how you feel. You're not supposed to show it to anyone how exactly you feel and what you think in certain situations. Now, was there a point in life where it was needed for men to show ruthlessness? Was there a point in life where it was important for men not to show their emotions, express their emotions? Are we living now in a time where it's important for men to show balance, to have balance, to be able to communicate well how they feel, to be able to express their emotions? Going back to my own history, my own life, I've never had my dad tell me that he loved me. I've never had my dad or anyone, a male figure in my life, uncles, brothers, I never had anyone express or seen anyone express their emotions. Now, this is very interesting for me because I have an example or a small memory that happened to me when I was young. I don't know, maybe I was about 8 years old. My dad had asked me to catch a chicken, and that moment when my dad was asking me to catch a chicken, I don't know how old I was. I think I was younger than 8 years old, and I hadn't had any direct contact with chickens or anything, or catching chickens. So my dad in one moment asked me to catch a chicken, and I start crying. Then I tell him, no, I'm afraid to catch it. So my dad explained to me, or yelled back at me to say that, no, if you don't catch it, I'm gonna beat you. So this is a point where I have to weigh up my fear of catching the chicken to my fear of being beaten by my dad. Now, of course, I chose to catch the chicken because it wasn't outweighing the fear of me actually being beaten by my dad. Now, the real question is, or comes from, are we living in a time where expressing your own emotions as a man, expressing how you feel as a man, expressing your desires as a man is not important in this time of age? Is it a cultural thing for men not to express their emotions? Is it something that people really need to look at? Are we living in a time where men shouldn't actually express their own feelings? Having read many stats now, I get to have many questions as I'm talking or making this video. Why is it that the violence between men and women in relationships has risen to the point where it has now? Why is it that men react so aggressively in many instances against their partners? Does this have any kind of, or is it actually connected to the fact that we don't actually talk about how we feel, we don't express how we feel, and men just have these built up aggressive tendencies that they just hold on until at one point it just blows up. They end up beating their partners, they end up killing their partners. The real question for me is that, are we living in a time where it's okay to just be able to express your own emotions as a man? And I think that is okay. I think that it's important for men to be able to express their own emotions. I think it's important, for men to talk about how they feel. It's important to find, social groups, friends, where people support you or don't actually judge you based on what you are exposing about how you are feeling, about what you go through. I think it's more than okay for men to go into these social groups, find friends that you can confide in, find friends that they will not judge you, they will support you. Find groups of friends that it's still okay for you to say how you feel. When emotions are ignored, they don't simply disappear. They stack up as pain for many years and end up being released in violent, aggressive behaviors. It's important for us to be able to express our emotions. We might be in a culture where expressing your own emotions is punished, just like how I was when I was young. Whether it's for cultural reasons or simply a survival mechanism for men to survive in a world which was ruthless, which created a society of strong men who do not actually express their own emotions, is not that important. The most important thing is for us to learn or know that we can actually relearn some of these toxic behaviors. We can relearn our way of thinking about emotions as men. And it's important for us to look at emotional intelligence as a subject for men to learn, or not only men, but in general, we need men to actually look at it as a subject to learn. Just like we learn mathematics in school, we learn history, we need to also learn about emotional intelligence. We need to learn about how to express our emotions. We need to know the names of different emotions. We need to know and learn that it's important for us to express our own emotions. What I can suggest you do is that you learn how to communicate your emotions. You learn how to express your emotions. You put yourself into positions where you can express your emotions without being judged. On a daily basis, reflect about what you went through that day. What are some of the things that triggered happiness? What are some of the things that triggered sadness? What are some of the things that happened through the day that triggered anger inside of you? Sit down, write down exactly what went wrong, what you went through. Talk to a family member, talk to a loved one, talk to a colleague that you trust. Open yourself more to people about your emotions. And I really hope that this message is quite useful to you. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the channel. Let us know what you think. Let's keep in touch. Thank you very much for watching this video. I appreciate it. Until next time, thank you. Have a great day.